How are you?
I'm good.
Good to hear. I see that you brought your journal. That's awesome.
Yes.
Before we get started with that, I did want to go ahead and let you know that on this is going to be our second to last session. I'm leaving the agency. I'm taking another position. So we'll have James. James will be taking over your case. He's within this agency, so I can provide him that information. There's no sign of release that's necessary. And then also I'll discuss kind of where we're at. You'll still have these tasks and goals. You can change them at any time if you don't feel like that they're aligning with what you want, and James will assist you with that. So I'm telling you that now, so you can just kind of think about some of that while we're in our session, and I'll ask you if you have any questions at the end, but I wanted to let you know that up front. Okay? So, I mean, is there anything that you want to talk about now about that?
I just, to be honest with you, I've really enjoyed being up here with you.
I've enjoyed working with you too, and I've seen that you've been successful and that you're going to continue on that journey with James. And James might give you a couple additional ideas into what I've had too. So.
Okay.
But I did want to go ahead and start discussing some of those.
Am I going to get to meet him?
Yes,
okay.
We can definitely meet James. James is here today. I can wrap this up a little shorter, maybe the last 10 minutes. We can go speak with him. He'll be in his office because he did schedule a half-hour block for me today in case we needed to go ask questions and anything like that. And he's an open book too. You can ask him any questions.
Okay.
So I just wanted to go over our objectives that we had created. Just kind of see where we're at with that. I see that you've got your planner. It looks like it's color-coded, and you've got Post-its.
Yeah, I really put forth a lot of effort in this, and this is not normally me. I mean, really, this is just phenomenal that I did a color coding system. It's not every day that I have something this organized, but I feel very good about it, and yeah.
So how you said you feel good about it? So what else? Like, how does that make you feel good? Like, what else are you feeling?
I just I guess it's just the progress. I mean, I got my planner, and if you look at the last week before I came in, it was just, I put a couple things in there. And I think this time I've, with having our tasks and stuff that we had last week, I started sliding stuff over to my planner, and I noticed it started filling up, like, just, in some, I'm not even sure how to say it, but I think it just, like, just things started giving.
Like it evolved?
Yeah, just things are very clear now, looking at that. So that's really a nice thing. So
you feel good about that. Does it make you feel good about anything else?
Does the planner make me feel good about anything else? I mean, makes me feel good. Okay. And I'm able to not lose track of things I'm supposed to be doing, and I think it makes other people happy, possibly. I'm going where I'm supposed to go, so I'm not missing appointments.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, I just wanted to see, because I know that we had discussed originally that, some of it was you wanted to be independent, and then it was no, I just really need to be organized and things kind of come together for you, and it looks like that's come together for you. With the color coding and making your appointments and sticking to them. So, and that's really our first task, was to utilize that journal for your daily activities and schedule any appointments and write them in your journal. So have you scheduled any additional appointments other than like with me?
Well, yours is in here, and then I think I wrote down church.
Okay.
In there. What else did I...
Well, have you gone to church the last two, since it's been 2 weeks?
I did not make the week before, but I made this last Sunday. So,
okay.
So yeah, and I utilized the transportation from the facility. They were able to kind of, bus me.
That's awesome.
Which was pretty nice. So.
That's awesome. Because I know that's kind of been one of the struggles that you've had. So I got some more information together for you. This goes over the trolley system we have here in Joplin. It's got your different routes, where you can go, the times and everything like that. The website's attached to it.
What does the red mean?
There's a red route.
Okay.
So there's a red route, a blue route, a yellow route. They've got times. It's kind of like your planner, a little color coded.
Okay.
Then here I've got all the cab numbers for Joplin and the Webb City area, And then also, I've got the non-emergency medical transportation that's provided by the state. You call up this number. I think it is a week in advance, and they can provide you transportation for your appointments and things like that. So if you know for sure, because we kind of schedule ours every 2 weeks out, you can use the phone here in our office, or one of the girls can work with you to set up that transportation. That way you always have that right as soon as you make that appointment. So this little packet's there for you. If you have any questions, I or James can definitely answer it, or you can call the office for that. But that packet is for you. And that's about the transportation for Joplin. So that way you don't, if you don't want to utilize your staff, or you can definitely do that. So.
Okay.
Okay, and so that was the next thing, that you're contacting transportation. How are you doing with that? So you did it 1 week for church, but what was the holdup on the first one?
I had asked originally if we could, if the transportation, they had transportation, and then foolishly on my part, I didn't follow up again because it was different staff on that Sunday. And
Okay.
even though they said earlier in the week that they could, I didn't, communicate that to the weekend staff. So what I did in my notes was I normally, like on Wednesday, I asked the week staff in hopes that they're going to pass it on to the weekend staff also, and then I made a note to bring it up on Saturday and on Sunday.
Okay, so is your Sunday staff the same on Saturday?
Yes.
Okay, so that's definitely a good plan there, and I see that you've got that in there for this week.
So I think if I do that, what it is it, just kind of, just trying to block the loopholes. And I'm a master at loopholes in the sense that, I asked, but they couldn't do it, so I didn't go. So
Okay.
I just really wanted to make sure that I'm
Well,
holding myself accountable.
That's another thing. I mean, as you're going to church, and I've got that eco map that we pulled out every time. So is there anybody in church that you can network with and say, hey, do you think maybe you could pick me up every other weekend, or, thing like that? Have you thought about that? Or do they have a transportation system or bus system within that church?
Well, and I think one of the things that I've told you is that I really enjoyed going to church, and it really is a positive. It really is a positive for me. But the problem is I haven't been very active in the past of going and getting there, so I've not made a lot of support. So I was hoping once I can start getting to go, I just feel very uncomfortable.
No, I understand.
Showing up on Sunday, nobody knows me, and then me ask somebody I don't know, hey, can you pick me up next Sunday? And I imagine they would, but I think part of it also is I have to I got to do my part.
That's great accountability that you have. So
Well, I'm trying.
that's great.
I want to get out of here. I want to get independent living.
Yes. Well, with that United Methodist Church, you can probably you can see if they actually have a system already set up for that. Some of them around here do, some of them don't.
Okay.
So that's just something that.
So can I borrow your pencil?
Absolutely.
And then what I'll do is I'll just mark that in there. I will check on that. By chance, do you have that number by chance?
For the United Methodist?
Yeah,
No. We will get on the computer here in a little bit, though.
Okay, so let me, United Methodist, okay. I mean, I can look it up, but if we're gonna go on the computer anyway,
Yeah.
that would be really good. I'll just put that number, and then what I can do is call and see if they have, that
Yes,
service.
that's great. Okay, so it looks like we've got some more tasks to go over. So the next task was that you would walk 3 times a week for 15 minutes periods. How's that going?
Partially.
Partially?
I think the last 2 weeks I've done probably a total of, maybe 4, maybe 5.
Okay. And did you put those in your journal?
I have not put those in my journal yet, and
Okay.
it's just because that's something I just know that I'm supposed to be getting out to do, and maybe that's how I help control it is by writing it down. But yeah, but I partially did it. I didn't do the whole 6 that I committed to.
Was there any particular reason why you didn't?
Well, I just, there was a couple days that, I've had my COPD act up really bad, and I guess it goes back to, not wanting to, bless you.
Thank you.
Not wanting to, bless you again.
Thank you.
Not wanting to walk around with my oxygen. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I guess that's this thing I'm gonna have to get over or get through. It's just kind of embarrassing, and bless you again.
Thank you.
So, yeah, so, that, I guess that's where is the biggest thing.
So with the 15 minutes time periods, it didn't say anything that we had to go outside or walk around a park or anything. So was there, when you're having days like that, what about maybe breaking it down to, 5 or 10 minutes at a time inside your house?
Well, because, I guess what I want to do is I want to get to a point that I can, do my 6, do my 6 times. Is what I committed to, and if I start watering it down, because I do walk around the building, but that is not like the, my
Okay.
down the street to make sure I do my amount of time that I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And I guess that would help. But I really do got to get to a point where I kind of work through.
Okay.
Because a lot of it is, even though my COPD is acting up, and even though I'm embarrassed going out, but I have to start learning to, I guess one of the areas is accepting, where I'm at, and continue to press through with what I have to do. So.
Okay. And what I'm doing now, I'm just going through our task and just marking off what we've done and if there's any barriers with any of those, just so you know what I'm doing over here.
Okay.
Okay. So it sounds like that's something that you know you need to work on, and you're very cognitively aware of that. So that's good. And then because the next step was to document your walks in your journal. So I definitely encourage you to do that. You might need to buy a bigger thing of colored pencils for that, for your color coding, because I don't know if those little packs of 8 are going to work with that. So.
No. I mean, it's a lot of color coding. I mean, it's almost obsessive, to be honest with you. But, but you're right. You're right.
Okay. And our next step was to create a shopping list weekly.
I haven't done very well with that.
Okay.
At all.
Tell me a little bit about that.
A couple times I went to the store. I went without a shopping list,
Okay.
and I bought things, that I needed. But as I got back to home, I realized I needed other things. I didn't do my shopping list, so I really counted that as, once again, a reinforcement of why that was a task in the first place.
Okay. So it sounds like maybe you're seeing the value in why we're making a shopping list. Okay.
I guess I'm trying to, I'm getting a little more insightful to some of my own behaviors that limit
Okay.
what I do.
So what are some of the other behaviors that you've noticed create limitations?
Well, my biggest one is I procrastinate. Is probably one of my big barriers. Is I'm a procrastinator. And one of the other ones is I'm not very organized, which I'm working on, but that was another, we talked about that before, about organizing my life.
Okay.
And the other is, just, don't have, real strong social support, and people that, I'm getting, that I'm interacting with and stuff. So, I mean, I know looking at, our eco math that I have a lot of support, but it's just, I don't have the kind of support that, in the sense that, I'm talking to consistently, that I feel comfortable completely relying on,
Okay.
So.
Okay. I mean, that's one thing, the reason why we made this, and like we said last time, this is going to change as you change and as you become more involved. So if there's any point where you feel like you should add somebody or something or an entity, we can definitely do that, and James can do that with you as well, to add to that, because, and if you come to a point, well, that first one's not even, there's not enough room, you can start all over, and that's something you can sit down and do with James and say, okay, well, I want to, because obviously if you live out on your own, we're not going to have the RCF and that particular staff, you're just going to have friends. So we get rid of 3 bubbles there, but you may have staff that comes in and takes care of you for different things, so you may have a different bubble. So it can change and alter. You may still have everything, but it all might shift as you shift. So that's one thing that, this is here to just always remind us that we have that, because sometimes we can feel like we're really alone when we're really not. So you've got all those outlets to use.
Yeah, I'm going to put my organizer on there next.
There you go, because that's an extension, that's an outlet for you. So that's great. So you didn't create the shopping list, but you did go shopping, that's great. So how are you feeling about some of that online shopping that we talked about? Because that was kind of if you didn't make a shopping list and if you didn't get out there. So how are you with the online shopping?
Well, I thought it was, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because, you know, I was, I was there at the facility, and, Ray, one of the staff there, we call him Ray. His name's probably not Ray, he's probably Raymond or something like that, but we call him Ray.
Okay.
And he was, doing an order for, the snack area in that facility, and he was doing it at Sam's. And I was kind of mentioning, and one of my tasks was that I was gonna do online shopping, and he allowed me to kind of watch him do the online shopping.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to do it, but what I found was it was pretty neat that he put it in that Saturday, and Sunday he picked it up, and it was very effective.
Okay. So that sounds like that's a resource you'll be able to use on your own too, independently. So maybe that's one thing while we're on the computer today, we can look at and see, you know, what particular stores do that. Like, I know that Price Cutter here does that. Sounds like Sam's Club does that. So we can maybe create a little list for your journal that will have, hey, here's some of the resources you can use for the days that you're not feeling like you get out, or if you're completely booked for that day, but you're like, man, I really need milk and I need it, you know, today. So get that to just go pick up. So, okay, well, that's something else that we can go over.
And Sam's is probably not an option, because a lot of that is bulk, and I don't need that. I don't need 97 razors, you know, I mean.
Right.
I mean, sometimes I don't even shave my legs, you know, so.
I understand that. It is No Shave November for men this year, or this month, so, okay. And then it says here that our next one is going to be creating a Missouri Career Center profile in the next 2 weeks. So, did you create a Missouri Career profile?
I did.
Okay.
I did complete that.
And did you have any troubles with that?
No, it was simple, I think.
Okay. Now, the next step for that, the reason why we did create that profile was to go ahead and enroll in a workshop. Were you able to go ahead and do that?
I didn't do the workshop, but
Okay.
I did enroll, and I did get a profile, so.
Okay.
Now, because I wrote that in my journal to do, and I think I did that not last week, but the week before, after I left the session.
Okay.
Let me look.
Okay. I know for me, particularly with the Missouri Career Center, it is
I
kind
did
of
it
over.
Friday,
Oh, that's great.
2 weeks.
That you, for me with that, I mean, it's mostly employment. So trying to find some of those classes and some of those other things, you kind of have to dig. So that's why I did bring our computer in today, so that we could sit down and go over that. So I could help you with that. So in a sense, we'll be able to knock off that goal today for you. Just because I know for me, it can be frustrating when it's like, go to this website, go find what you're looking for, and sometimes you don't even know the key words, because you can be like, okay, it's a class, but they can call it a session or a course. So we want to make sure that when we're doing those searches that we're able to make sure that we're linking to the correct resources. So I did want to go over that with you. And then the next step would be after that, so we can maybe focus on that after we look at the computer for that. So let's go ahead and pull up the computer over here if you want to scoot in a little bit. So here on the Missouri Career Center, I have my profile already logged in.
Okay, do you want to do my profile? I mean, I have.
No, I don't want to do your profile, because I want you to be able to do this.
Okay.
Okay? So if you need to take any notes, you've got that pencil, you've got that journal, you can use the back of those
Now, is there a
papers.
professional site? Because my screen looks a little bit different than what yours
Oh, well,
does.
I'll go to the home screen here in a second.
Okay.
So you'll go to the home screen,
Okay.
and then
And it says home on there?
yeah, well, it's, how you log in. So do you usually go to the website, or do you go into the login page first? How do you get there?
It's saved on the computer at the facility.
Okay, so does this page pop up, or does this page pop up?
I think that page right there.
That page? Okay. So when you go in there, you'll log in.
Okay, log in. All right.
And then you will go over here to where so you log in, you're on your profile, you'll click additional resources.
Additional resources. My spelling is bad.
Oh, that's fine. As long as you're able to understand it later when you're doing it.
Yeah, I believe I will be.
Okay. So then you've got additional resources, and then you scroll down, it's closer to the bottom, and they've got available classes.
Available.
All right. And then this is the list of their classes. The one that you're looking for is the Take Control of Your Finances workshop.
Take control of your finances workshop.
Okay, so you click on that link and it pops up that calendar.
Okay.
So so right now it says that you would do that in the next 4 weeks, so it would essentially be in the next 2 weeks that you would do that. So
Next 2
looking
weeks.
here, it looks like you've got Tuesday and Thursday options.
Okay, so between looking at my calendar, so okay, this week is done. So really, I have the 11th, 13th. Let me write it down: 11, 13, 18, 20.
Okay,
Okay.
so with that, you might want to add that you need to schedule that within those 2 weeks. So you will want that scheduled by the 20th.
By the 20th deadline.
Okay.
Okay.
So, once you get that enrolled, that basically takes care of that. So your next step would be that you document that you show that you enrolled at the Missouri Career Center. So usually they'll give you a certificate of completion, or they'll give you some resources. If you'll just bring that in when you come in next time, which would be, that one will actually be with James. You'll give that information to James because he'll still go through with that.
Okay. Well, not if I go on the 11th, because then I can bring it in for our last session.
Yeah, so if you do it before it, yeah,
Okay.
because I mean, we'd just be knocking those out of the ballpark, huh?
Okay, yeah.
So, the next thing I wanted to show you was that, since it sounds like there's some concern with the shopping online, is Price Cutter. I've got it pulled up here, just pricecutter.com.
Okay, price cover done.
Now, here, what is really cool, and I've seen a couple sites have this, they also have over here at the top where you can make a wish list or a shopping list. Or you can even possibly add to cart if you're doing it online for that. For here, they've got a pickup carousel, and you basically, you go in there, you'll have to create a profile. It's kind of the whole thing online, you got to create that profile. You'll create that profile, you'll go over there, and then it breaks everything down into categories. So you got toiletries, you've got an alcohol section, you've got your dairy section, your meat section. So you just go through there and you add those things. And here it says that if you place it in before noon, that you can get it as early as 4 o'clock that evening. So really pay attention to those times, because if you're needing something, you're going to have to still go pick that up. So you need to make sure that you get the transportation, so you can have staff help you, or you can even get into a routine where you have like the trolley system, for example. You can get dropped off at the nearest location, get picked up.
Yeah, okay.
So you can use those routes that are available to you. So did you have any questions about that? Okay.
It just seems like I gotta make a lot of profiles.
Yes, it is.
Now, is it safe to write my profile and password in my calendar book, or? Because, you know, I was thinking the other day that if I start getting a lot of profiles and passwords, I mean, somebody get my book.
I always try to have like a username. So like for mine, if it was, my username was Carolyn Bland, so I would put my username and, like, let's say my passwords 1 2 3 4 5 ABC. I'd probably put 1-5A-C. That way, to me, it wouldn't clearly say my password, and obviously I wouldn't choose one that like that. But
so
something that's
be a little
cryptic.
cryptic.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you know, even with my thing, I could have CLB that, and I could have the website attached to that for that.
Okay.
So, any other questions? You're doing these tasks. How are you feeling about all that?
Well, I think it, once again, I really want to be independent living. You know, that's my goal.
You're definitely on the right path.
So I mean, I'm doing these things, you know, for two purposes. One is I think it's helpful for me, but I think mostly it's getting me on the right path. I mean, it's going to help me get to where I want to get to, which is on my own.
So what are your thoughts about getting on that path?
Well, my thoughts are, you know, it's a long ways away. You know, I mean, it really is. I mean, if I think way out there, I get really stressed.
Well, just kind of like you do in your planner. It's just one day at a time.
Yeah. So really, that's the big thing. Is just not thinking about, because I just really think that I'm ready, and through all the paperwork and everything that has to happen in order for me to get there, it's just it's just a lot. That becomes very overwhelming, and I don't wanna be overwhelmed. I wanna be able to do stuff that's gonna benefit me.
Well, when I hear you say that you get overwhelmed, it seems like when we broke down these tasks and we were kind of like, we went from every 2 weeks we're doing one task. So maybe when it feels like you're getting overwhelmed, whatever that situation is, you can always break those down into tasks. Like, okay, I've really got to pay the bills and do laundry and grocery shop. So maybe make a list and prioritize, what really needs to be done today.
Well, I don't mean overwhelmed in that. I
Okay.
think what's overwhelming to me is, I think the overwhelming piece is that, I want to be independent living now, and it's down the road a good ways before I'm gonna be able to do that. And when I think about down the road, I think, God, now I gotta do another 6 months or 8 months or a year here, and I want independent living. So if I'm not focused on that, and I'm kind of focused on, the little things I'm doing, I don't get overwhelmed.
Right.
But I get overwhelmed when I think out there. I get probably the better word is I get pissed.
Yeah, I can understand that. So it sounds like all these little things are kind of, one, keeping you on the right track, still giving you hope, and distracting you from that feeling of being overwhelmed, and you're being productive in that as well.
I think so.
So that's good. So we've got the last few minutes here. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, and if not, we can go meet James.
I would like to go meet James.
Okay. All right. So do you still have your copy of your ecosystem?
I do have my copy of my
Okay. So remember that at any time you can do that with James, and he can add that with you. So, all right. Let's go meet James.